Freemasons are bound together by ritual and sacred oaths as brothers. They consider themselves as having unbreakable bonds of brotherhood, giving a reassuring sense of order. There are 6 million Freemasons around the world. The metaphor at the heart of the organisation revolves around the concept of building, hence the word Freemason. Its 3 pillars are brotherly love, relief and truth, as a way to make good men better. Being a Freemason is referred to as practicing the craft. In this programme, we focus on the Masonic province of Northamptonshire and Huntingdonshire.
My name is Max Bayes and I am the Provincial Grand Master for the province of Northamptonshire and Huntingdonshire. In that province we have 93 lodges, and we cover an area from Stamford in the north down to Brackley in the south, from Daventry in the west over to St Ives in the east. We are one of 47 provinces in the country, which are formally based on the normal old county structures, which is why we're still called Northamptonshire and Huntingdonshire, even though Huntingdonshire hasn't existed since about 1974. We have around 3,500 members in our province within those 93 lodges, and this is a very special year for all of us because we are celebrating 300 years of recognised Freemasonry. In 1817 the union was formed. The first was of course formed in 1717, but in 1817 2 Grand Lodges came together and became known as the United Grand Lodge of England. So we are now celebrating those 300 years. There are many national events going on, and we in our province are specialising on 3 particular events. In March of this year we went to the Grand Lodge in London, which is in Great Queen Street in Covent Garden, and we had 1,240 of our people in the building there. We received a lecture from the director of the library and the museum, who talked about why the building was built in the 1920s, a memorial for our brethren that died in the First World War. It's one of the greatest Art Deco buildings in London, and she explained in great detail how it was built, how it was funded, and some of the symbolism that was on the walls and on the ceilings. We had lunch, and in the afternoon 900 people from our province, so almost about 1 in 4 of our members attended a ceremony that we did in the Grand Temple, and it was a very special day for all of us to be operating in the Grand Temple, and it was something that my members will remember for the rest of their lives. Our second big event is today, when we are going to parade through the streets of Peterborough in full regalia, something that is not normally done. The last time it was done was in 1922 in Peterborough, combined with the provinces of Norfolk and Cambridgeshire. The reason we haven't done it in recent years is that Masonry used to be quite open. Between the wars it was quite usual for men to be in their regalia at a remembrance service in November or other events, public events. During the war Hitler threatened to do all sorts of things to us, as he did to Jewish people, and it frightened us. And so Masonry went underground, and although it did expand dramatically in the years after the war, men coming from serving in the forces wanted the same companionship and friendship and support that they'd received whilst they were fighting, and they missed it when they were demobbed, so they joined Freemasonry, and it expanded dramatically in the late 40s and early 50s. But even so, it was still very much underground and not talked about. And when I became a Mason something like 35 years ago, you didn't talk about it, you kept it very quiet. We now wish to be more open about it because there's nothing we do that's subversive, or we don't run the country, we don't run the judiciary, we don't run the police, which we get accused of. We are a group of people that enjoy each other's company, and the whole concept of Freemasonry is that we try to take good men and make them better men.
I'm David Burton. I'm the Assistant Provincial Grand Master for the province of Northamptonshire and Huntingdonshire, appointed by the Provincial Grand Master. I'm responsible for organising the event today. Given my geographical location, I live near to Peterborough. it made good sense for me to look after today's proceedings. I also organise a carol service at the Cathedral, which we hold every year, obviously nearer Christmas, and we've been doing that for the last 21 years. The arrangements for today have been problematic, but not impossible. We've got, I think, about 900 to 1,000 people coming into the city today. We're joining Peterborough Cathedral for their service, which is a choral evensong following their 3-day music festival. And we're privileged to be able to utilise the cathedral as our centre for these celebrations. The event starts with a parade leaving the town hall at 2:05. That will be the wardens of the province carrying the banners. Each lodge within the province has a banner. Some can't be paraded because they're over 200 years old and would possibly fall apart, and we daren't lose them. But every lodge has the opportunity to parade its banner. The wardens will parade those to the cathedral precinct. They will form a guard of honour, and the guard of honour will remain there until the parade, which includes the masters of all the lodges in the province, the provincial officers of the province, the grand officers who are appointed by the United Grand Lodge of England, and the executive and our civic guests. They will leave the town hall at round about 2:30.
Freemasonry likes to focus on how much it supports brothers in need, for instance where circumstances mean a requirement for childcare or counselling. There is great pride in the Masonic Charitable Foundation. In 2015, from £20 million of the grants given, £5 million went to non-Masonic causes, such as the Scout Association and air ambulances. The rest went to help Freemasons and their families in need.
And then we're welcoming members of the Masonic Province of Northamptonshire and Huntingdonshire, who are here as part of a programme of celebrations for the anniversary of 300 years of Freemasonry in England. It's a special anniversary, and it's good to be able to give thanks for it here in Peterborough Cathedral, and you are most welcome. The commitment to raise money and to give is one of the core activities of Freemasonry, and it's impressive, and a lot of energy and commitment is put into driving it forward. And this province alone raises over £130,000 a year, and that can only happen with sacrificial generosity, and you can be proud of that.
A reading from the prophecy of Isaiah, chapter 6, beginning at verse 1. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord sitting on a throne, high and lofty, and the hem of his robe filled the temple. Seraphs were in attendance above him. Each had 6 wings. With 2 they covered their faces, and with 2 they covered their feet, and with 2 they flew. And one called to another and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. The pivots on the threshold shook at the voices of those who called, and the house filled with smoke. And I said, Woe is me, I am lost, for I am a man of unclean lips, and I live among a people of unclean lips. Yet my eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. Then one of the seraphs flew to me, holding a live coal that he had been taken from the altar with a pair of tongues. The seraph touched my mouth with it and said, Now that this has touched your lips, your guilt has departed and your sin is blotted out. Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? And I said, Here am I, send me.
The turnout today was over 800 people, and it was a bit ambiguous to how many we were going to, because it was a ticket event, and people made donations without specific numbers. Our target was about 700, and we exceeded that, and according to the staff in the church, there was 814 adults. So it's quite precise. I don't know who did the counting, but I think we've got to be grateful for what they did. But with children as well, I'm sure, and the people watching in the street, there must have been more than 1,000 people.
My name's Craig Bunday, and I am the immediate past master at Fitzwilliam Lodge in this province, and came out the chair last year. What inspired me about 10 years ago to become a Freemason was the fact that it was a great fraternity of people from all ages. And when I first went to a ladies' night, which was my first introduction into Freemasonry, I met a lot of people, as I say, from loads of different ages who just seemed to be enjoying themselves and seemed to be having a life after a business life. And I was in business at the time, and I thought this is a great organisation to be involved with when you get older. So I got involved then, and I've gone through the ranks now, and I've got a provincial rank, and I'm enjoying it as much as I enjoyed it when I first joined.
So I manage a pub in the town that I come from, and a lot of my customers there are Masons. I didn't know this when I started. It took me about 6 months to figure this out. Just through talking to them about what Freemasonry was and what it does for both you and everyone else around you, just made me want to learn more about it. And really, the easiest way to learn more about something is to do it. So I decided to. Funny story about some of my customers. They'll see me walking to the lodge in my suit, and all of a sudden you get them going up. That time is it. I've never once done that in my life of Freemasonry, and don't expect to ever again. Yeah, so far I've been enjoying it, just learning, still learning.
My lodge is Sartris Lodge in Rushden, and I've been a Freemason now for 30 years. And originally I got into Freemasonry because I was quite keen on meeting like-minded people, as I was self-employed and had a business, and sometimes it can be quite insular, so it was terrific for me to get involved in an organisation that is very giving, and as you probably know, is one of the biggest contributors to charity, not just to fellow Freemasons, but to the nation in general, and also international causes. So it was great for me because I could dine and have evenings out with like-minded people. And over the years I've made lots and lots of friends, and it's been very rewarding.
My name's Chris Roberts, I'm in the Scout Lodge.
Well, I'm Barry Wigley, I was a founder member of the Scout Lodge. With so many people in both organisations, we decided it was sensible to look at forming a lodge of Scouters and people that are interested in Scouting, and we found out that there are 50 lodges in the country with similar aims, as well as all youth groups.
Through the 300 years history of Freemasonry, there's been lots of people who either were famous when they joined or became famous after they joined. A lot of the founding fathers of the United States were Masons, including George Washington, Mozart, Wick Rakeman, they were musical Masons, and there's been celebrity Masons such as Joe Pasquale and Jeremy Beadle.
The current most famous Mason is the Duke of Kent, who is of course our Grand Master, but he is also the President of the Scout Association, so that is a major connection between the two. Rudyard Kipling was a Freemason, and he was a good friend of Baden-Powell, who never did join Masonry, but they worked together and founded the Cubs, or years ago called the Wolf Cubs, based on the Jungle Book.
The day went extremely well today. We had 800 Masons who paraded through the streets of Peterborough into the church for a fantastic evensong, and altogether everybody was on key. Everybody did everything as they were supposed to, and there are a few people I'd like to thank for their efforts through the day. Obviously, the Assistant Provincial Grand Master, David Burton, put a tremendous lot of work in preparing things for today in the Cathedral. But also Jonathan Hibbins and all the stewards that helped not only in the processions, but also in the Cathedral, and also out here during the festivities, helping pour the wine, dishing out the sandwiches, all the things that people, getting their hands dirty and making sure that the day was exceptionally well received by all concerned, not only the Masons, but their partners and the visitors here as well. So all in all, I feel it was a fantastic day, one to be enjoyed and remembered for many years to come.